What's the number one thing that can really brighten up your night when you're driving off-road in Death Valley? I'm about to show you. Hey there, I'm Peter Holcomb. Today we're in Death Valley. We've been touring all around the park. What an amazing place to take your Revel van, and we are getting full use of it here. I want to share with you something that I find really handy today as our Revel Mod series, and that is our off-road lights. Death Valley is a very dark place, and having some auxiliary lighting, especially when you're driving off-road, makes a huge difference. All right, so in my first van, my first Revel, which this is the second one, I added a set of Lightforce Genesis driving lights. And when I put them in and turned them on for the first time that dark night, I was blown away and forever changed. This is one of the best modifications that I've made to my vans, and I'm going to make to every vehicle moving forward. I mean, this is an amazing thing. Having these extraordinary lights gives you the ability to kick light further down the road or the path that you're on and let you see things as they're coming, gives you more time to react, and it just illuminates everything in the foreground. So you see all those rocks and roots and ditches and ledges, and gives you the ability to make an informed decision as you're driving off-road at night. To mount them on my Revel van, I'm using a Van Compass hidden light bar, or hidden mount. I think that's what they call it. And it basically is a mount that you pull the grill off, it mounts in there, and then these little tabs stick through the grill, giving you a secure mounting point for the lights. I think this is an ideal place. I like them on the grill. They're high enough. They give me a good reach down the road. They aren't creating really long shadows, but they do create some shadows, which is actually a good thing because flat light makes it really hard to differentiate shapes, depths, things like that. And by having some shadow is a good thing. So these lights are mega bright. They kick a beam so far down the road, and they have a nice, they're kind of a spotlight, but they do fade off a little bit, so you get some peripheral lighting, but you really, if you have them positioned properly, they just light up the main center of the road and they just go. Then when I got my 2021 Revel, I decided that I wanted a little more kick. I mean, if these are good, more must be better, right? That's such a guy thing, but I think it's true in this instance. So I added a 50-inch dual row LED light bar, another Lightforce product, and this thing really kicks a beam out. And the thing with some of these modern light bars that's kind of neat is the lights on the side are a little more of a flood. They give you a little more of that peripheral lighting, and the lights in the middle really kick out like a spot. So you get this just really nice glowing light that kicks down the road but also lights that peripheral. Now what I like with these two as a combo is, right, the Genesis are down low and they're casting shadows from some of the bigger rocks, ditches, roots, things like that. The bar is up top and it's filling in those shadows. So what I end up with is a nice evenly lit scene, but I still have some shadows, but those shadows aren't completely dark, as if I only had lights on one plane. Having this upper plane coming in, it's filling in those shadows a little bit, and it gives me a really nice sense of the topography of the road that I'm driving on. So I wired these lights in straight to the dash. Some people like to use Switch Pros. There's a Garmin Overlander you can use to control your switches. I think all that stuff is great. I just chose to keep it kind of simple and go right through the dash. I've used all the knockouts, the empty switches that I have on my dashboard. I've got them all occupying lights and my air compressor now. So I don't have any room for anything else. If I want to add more lights, I'm probably going to have to go to a Switch Pro. But this is working really good. Although I want to tell you there's one major hiccup in adding off-road driving lights to any of the VS30, which is 2019 and newer Sprinter vans that have the LED lighting. You can't install this with the normal 12-volt hot wire going into your high beam like you would in like my Toyotas and older vehicles. So now this is all run by computers. So I had to get some software help from my friends at Mercedes, and you could probably do this as well through your local dealer. And they had to write me some code that then is imported to the PSM module. Now the PSM module is under the seat, and it's basically the computer that controls everything going on in your van. And your Revel will have a couple of empty PSM ports. And so they wrote this code that then lets me assign one of those ports to activate a 12-volt switch or turn on 12 volt when I hit my high beams. So this gives me the ability to, as I'm going down the road, if I turn my high beams on and my switches are on to my driving lights come on with the high beams. This, I think, is the perfect way of doing this. But if I notice a car, I want to be able to just hit my high beams and turn it all off. And this is what that code allows me to do through the PSM module. Some people are putting a switch like on the floor, like an old school high beam switch. But to totally, I think, be the cleanest, it's best to go through the PSM module and tie it into high beam. So I'll let you guys figure out what's best for you there, but that is what I did on my van. I've got my driving lights. They work beautifully. Honestly, I am just giddy every time I get a chance to turn them on. They're just lovely. These Genesis here have a removable cover, and I can remove them and put on yellow filters. I can put on blue filters for snow. I typically, in desert situations, I run the clear filters just because I like that nice, really true white light. Another aspect of this lighting system that I really enjoy is the proximity lights. What are proximity lights? Well, they're lights that light up the whole area around the van. Mounted up on the roof rack, I have 6 Lightforce Rock 40 LED lights. These are way smaller lights, but they kick out a really nice beam, and they allow me just to light up the area around the van. With the flip of a switch, I can turn on these 2 in the front of the van. They shoot straight off from the sides. This is really handy when you're setting up a camp, sorting gear, or what I really use them for the most probably is driving down that dark dirt road, and they have all the little pullouts that are little camp spots along the road. A lot of times I don't want to actually drive into that campsite to see what it looks like. So it's really nice as I'm going down the road, I can pop these on. They give that little side beam, lets me see into that campsite and know if it's a place that I want to drive into or if I want to keep on going. So the fronts are on one switch, and then in the back I have 4 more. So there's 2 more that shoot off the sides of the van, and there's 2 more that go off the very back of the van. And I consider those kind of my backup lights. There's so many times off-roading and even in town when I need a quality, super bright backup light. This, I don't know about you, but driving in your Sprinter van, sometimes it's kind of hard to see out the back. You do have the backup camera, which really helps. If it's dark, or if your camera's dirty, or if a million things have happened and you're having a hard time seeing where you want to back up, it is so nice hitting this switch and lighting the backup 1,000 times brighter than what it would be with just the stock backup lights. So I have these lights wired onto 2 switches. The front 2 are on one switch and they go off either side of the van, and then the back 4 are on another switch. But when I am at camp and I just want that light over the whole area, I'll turn them all on. I will use those a lot of times in conjunction with the running board lights and with the stock Winnebago Revel LED lights that are on the side. When you turn all those on, boy, it lights this up so well. All of these lights are wired into the house battery. So they aren't ever going to run down my starting battery. So they're running off the lithium-ion batteries that come in the Revel. They really don't pull much power at all, but I like them wired in that way, so there's no chance if they get bumped and left on during the day or something and I don't notice it, then they aren't going to run down my starting battery. Thanks for tuning in today. This is another installment of my Revel Mods video series. I'm going to be showing you more things that we've done to our van to make it ours, and those videos are going to be coming out soon. Keep an eye on Winnebago Life for the next installment. Till then, Famagogo out.